Okay, here's the scene. Election day 2008. John McCain told his family in the afternoon that the campaign already understood that they would be losing the election that evening. But election night had to roll out. The results had to be understood. Senator McCain would have to give his concession. Here's how his daughter Meghan saw it from the stage that night at the Biltmore Hotel in Phoenix. This is from her new book, Dirty, Sexy Politics. I don't really remember walking off the stage. Emotion can be like a drug and wipe everything out of your head. But I do remember being backstage and seeing Sarah Palin's mother crying hysterically, wailing and making loud sobbing sounds and hugging little Piper. It was hard to witness. All the other Palins had their game faces on. They knew what their job was, but Sarah's mother couldn't do it. Then, for some weird reason, Sarah stepped back on stage by herself. She was waving to the crowd, saying hi to the cameras, almost as though she were in Alaska, not Arizona. What was she doing? I was shocked. It was as if she wanted to make the night about her and not my dad. She was trying to have the last word and the last wave. What else did she want or need? What was driving her to do this? Possibly it was unconscious, this dramatic bit of upstaging, and she couldn't see how it could look to us or anybody else. She was supposed to leave the stage, but she couldn't go along with the plans even then, even on the last night, and just follow my dad and the rest of us back to the hotel bungalow. She didn't have a go-along side to her. And I saw something that I hadn't really wanted to see before. Losing wasn't an end for her, it was a beginning. As for me, I was perfectly ready to say goodbye. Goodbye to the campaign, goodbye to politics. Soon, it would all be behind me. I told myself, my dad will never run for president again. I will never have to go through this again. Joining us now for the interview is the author of Dirty, Sexy Politics, her campaign memoir, Meghan McCain. Meghan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me again.
Goodbye to politics? Really?
That moment, when this is really a story, and the story of my 2 years on the campaign, and I was unbelievably sad, and I was very depressed afterward, and I thought everything I believed in and worked for 2 years really diminished and had this very, very sad, tragic, very Greek ending. And I actually say later on, like, I felt like I was at a funeral, and I didn't understand it at the time. You have to really go back to Obama mania and before Sarah was who she is now, and I was just confused. And I was very honest and candid in this book because I wanted to be, you know, if go big or go home, like, you might as well tell the truth. I mean, it was sad and it was very hard.
But at that same time, you're also sort of falling in love with politics. You're talking about seeing the people who are there to see your dad's concession. Look at how much people loved my dad and loved politics and loved this country. This counted for something. This counted for everything. There was so much love all around in spirit and faith. And I saw that I was lucky to be John McCain's daughter and to have been a part of this. So at the same moment you're saying goodbye to all this, forget politics, you're also sort of falling in love with politics.
Story of my life, yes. I mean, I didn't study this in college, and I did fall in love with the process. I mean, I don't think you can go, into the primaries in New Hampshire and Iowa and Ohio and not fall in love with people in the process of politics, which is why I'm still idealistic. But it was sad at the same time. It broke my heart. It broke my heart worse than any man ever has. So it was just hard, but beautiful at the same time. And later on I got motivated. It took me like 2 months of like just staying in my pajamas and like eating a bunch of chocolate, and then
playing rock band.
Yes, playing nothing but rock band. And then I just decided I was going to be the leader I didn't have. Well, and I feel like I have ever since, sort of.
On that issue of being a political leader, I mean, the book sort of starts there and it goes back to it after you tell your personal story in between. And you're sort of making this plea in the book. It's the same one you've made over the past couple of years. The last time we talked a year and a half ago, and what you've done at the Daily Beast, which is really pleading for...
And for the record, my interview on your show about a year ago now was a turning point in a lot of ways, because a lot of people were shocked that I came on this show, and I still get feedback from it, even though it was a while ago, and they're like, I can't believe you would go on. And it's like, we can't just have Republicans going on Fox, Democrats going on MSNBC, and I still get comments about it, which is why I wanted to come back on again.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. I appreciate it. I know you have infinite choice as to where you're going to talk about the book, so thank you. But what we talked about a year and a half ago, and what you wrote about at the Daily Beast, and what you talk about in the book, is this sort of plea for it to be okay for Republicans not only to cross lines and come talk with liberals and stuff like this, but also for it to be okay for Republicans to be moderates.
Yes.
The party does not seem to be taking your advice on that this year.
Right now, I don't think it is. I have lots of friends that work, obviously, in politics, and they bet what's going to happen. You know, was this last election year the turning point? What will be the turning point? When will people see, on a very organic level, if you make the party smaller, you have less voters. So where do you go from there? And I know what it feels like to be alienated. I talk very candidly about how I felt alienated on the campaign, and I worry about the direction for lots of reasons. But I worry about the direction of politics in general. We're so polarized, and it's us versus them, and I think it's a very scary place. And that's why I continue to do what I do.
And you love the Republican Party, lifelong Republican.
I do. I believe in the core ideals. I think that, like so many things, politics is cyclical. You know, in the 90s, there was this resurgence of extreme conservatism. I hope that it will come back around. I really do. We'll see. It's really going to depend on who we nominate in 2012.
Do you feel like you have any allies who are making the same case that you are now about the need for it to be okay to be a moderate Republican?
I do. I think Senator Lieberman and Senator Lindsey Graham are great advocates as well. They take their heat, though. You know, people take their shots at them. I certainly live my life.
Senator Lieberman isn't a Republican. So
he's an independent, technically, yes, but he endorsed my father in campaign, so I consider him sort of on my side. And, you know, it doesn't bother me, independent, like Republican, like, you know, if you want to be like a conservative-leaning liberal, and, you know, it's no secret how socially liberal I am, and I think the world is very gray, and putting it in black and white scares me.
Can you stick around for a moment while we go to commercials and we come back? Okay.
Thank you.
Our guest is Meghan McCain, whose new memoir about her time working on her dad's campaign is just out. It is called Dirty, Sexy Politics. It involves possibly the only story ever of the daughter of a politician being kicked off the campaign at one point. Yes. We'll be right back to hear more about that.
Thank you.